characters, plenty of players, and one or two surprises in the lineups after damaging an eye socket just 2 weeks ago in that World Club Challenge. Fullback Paul Wellens, a great surprise choice, but no surprise there in the centre. Paul Newlove and Kevin Iro, over 32 stones of power and skill. Two new boys there in the pack from Newcastle Knights down under, David Fairley and Peter Shields, and of course Kieran Cunningham, the world's #1 hooker, looking for another big season. 5 changes from the Wigan team, which lost 29-16 in the grand final. Gary Connolly and Paul Johnson returning after injury, and those 2 big money signings Jonathan was mentioning, Adrian Lamb and Matthew Johns. A new boy in the pack too, David Ferner from Canberra Raiders. He's preferred to Mick Cassidy in the second row. Plenty of attacking potential in that back row. And Wigan coming onto this Knowsley Road pitch, and a very heavy Knowsley Road pitch. We've had about 12-15 hours of persistent rain. St Helens still in that dressing room. I really do think the coach Ian Millward works a trick or two here. He likes the side to get out there, and Saints keep them waiting. Perhaps Chris Joint there looks a little nervous.
Yeah, well, they've got anything to lose, haven't they? They're playing at home, they're World Club champions, and they're playing against a rival, so it's a huge game for them. And one which they're looking forward to, but they will be a bit apprehensive.
Apprehensive or not, Neil Cowie there, the Wigan lad, he's certainly not a great experienced campaigner, but no more experienced player than the Saints skipper Chris Joint, needing just one more try for his 100 for the club. And Andy Farrell, captain of Wigan. Be interesting to see, as Martin O'Fire said, the style of Andy Farrell's game here today, whether Johns and Lamb will actually control things in midfield, and will Andy be doing a little bit more running down the flanks. Lamb from Papua New Guinea, and Stuart Cummins, the match referee, one of the most experienced of men, a man for the big occasion, the man in the middle at the World Cup final in November, and refereeing 3 previous Challenge Cup finals in 96, 97 and 98. Very little that those two lads don't know about each other's play. On opposite sides for Ireland and England in the World Cup. And Paul Sculthorpe there for England in the World Cup. But this is when it all matters today. Knowsley Road for the Challenge Cup, the Silk Cut Challenge Cup. The best of enemies, as St Helens and Wigan have been described. Sean Long, as I said, pitch very, very heavy underfoot, wind swirling around, and a huge crowd here attracted by the traditional rivalry. A good kick-off there, Jonathan. Very good kick-off.
Yeah, very high. I think they're playing into the wind, if anything, Wigan, so they just held the ball up in the wind, and they want to keep them here.
Saints then in possession in that customary red and white strip. And Wigan in a very strange looking strip, but a very natty one, their away strip this year, all black. Cunningham making headway from the acting half-back position, not the best of passes. Players will have to watch it this afternoon. That ball will be very, very slippy.
Yeah, Gustavo Furner, made the hit and then grabbed hold of the ball when he went loose. So now a good attacking option for Wigan early on.
And again we see another lost ball. Sculthorpe this time picking it up, number 13. St Helens, 7 times cup winners. Wigan, of course, 8 times cup winners consecutively in the 80s and the 90s. But it's Saints coming away down that right-hand side there now.
Come on, David.
Cunningham again. Sean Long. Oh, good little kick. Tommy Martin's there now then. Is he obstructed? Certainly he is. But it was offside.
It's offside.
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 Yeah, clearly offside. Watch him, here he goes. Yeah, he was clearly offside from that shot. And Stuart Cummins was in a fantastic position. So what follow didn't really matter. It's a lovely kick again, lovely weighted kick. But look at the position of the referee Cummins. He's held back, but that ball is going over the dead ball anyway.
I think we should look out for that this afternoon, though, Jonathan. In Long and Lang, we've got two very, very good men with the grubber kick.
Yeah, tremendous kickers of the ball. But also an early sign of what Kevin Ira can do. You've got the power and the pace of the St Helens partnership in the centre, and the guile and the craft of the Wigan centre partnership.
Wigan then, Newton in possession. Back to Lamb, Dennis Betts. And we have, as usual, Dick Duckenfield down there on the bench. What news, Dick?
The first casualty of the afternoon, Ray. Saints Paul Sculthorpe took a slight bang to the right side of his jaw. He was certainly looking groggy a few moments ago in the last Saints attack, but maybe now his head's beginning to clear.
Wait!
Matthew Johns and Lamb. Very, very interesting to see these two. Never played
Wait with me this time. Don't go ahead.
together in a first-class match in this country. Newton. Paul Wellens sensibly allowing that ball to run dead.
That's well played by Paul Wellens. You know, there's a little bit of a force on that, and he just thought that he was going to go the dead ball and did exceptionally well.
Okay, tackle one. Here we go.
Anthony Sullivan.
Hold, fellas.
Oh, now then, did he lose that or was it ripped out? No, says referee Cummins. Sonny Nicholl, good, strong, powerful burst there from Nicholl.
Wait.
Ferocious early on, and Sculthorpe is struggling. I think he's hit the shoulder or something. He's struggling.
Two terrific-sized. A little bit of a facial going in there from Terry O'Connor.
Wait.
Cunningham to Long. That's a beautiful ball out there, right to Iro. Iro's got space out wide. Sean Hoppy can't get away. Good cover tackling there by Wigan. But it's all action here at Northey Road. Peter Shields from Newcastle Knights.
Hit the line.
On the fifth tackle, Sean Long, Tommy Martin. Sullivan, he's got Dallas to beat. Newloff going for that line. There's the ball to Sean Long. Sonny Nicholl, support again out wide. This is good play from St Helens. Oh, that's the forward pass. Oh, beautiful handling, but just that last flick of the fingertips.
Explosive start. It's been unbelievable.
Well, you mentioned explosive style.
Look at this, the pass, that's definitely forward. There's been a punch thrown here, somebody's gone down. It'll be interesting to see who's been, I'm not sure who it is. I think it was Sean Long on Matthew John, I'm not sure.
Well, I think I saw Sean Long in there. It certainly, you mentioned that word explosive, and it really was.
The four punch together. Okay.
The both punch together.
Actually, we're just holding something like that.
Okay.
All right.
Sean Long, Matthew. Sean! Where's he gone? Sean. Matt. Hey fellas, we're going to leave this out, right? There's nothing going on in the play whatsoever. There's no reason for you two to get involved.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to restart with the play the ball over there. His first tackle. Don't be seeing you two together again, okay? Over there.
Sorted out very well by referee Cummins there. Great rivalry between those two, and of course been a lot of hype about the pair of them this last week. A little bit understandable.
Yeah, and they're playing against the best half-back partnership in the game in Britain, so there'll be intense rivalry there.
Radlinski. Lamb. Adrian Lamb, I can remember him having a great game here for Papua New Guinea in the '95 World Cup. Terry O'Connor. Terrific tackling. Oh, I don't think I've seen forceful tackling and driving like this for a long time. Betts. Doesn't Dennis look slimmer?
He was a lot slimmer, but the hits have certainly gone harder again this year. It's amazing.
Lamb, beautiful ball to Farrell. Here's a chance for Radlinski. Radlinski over there. Oh, terrific tackle there by Paul Newlow. But did he knock on? Play on, said the referee. Good decision there by Stuart Cummins. He delayed, he allowed St Helens to get the ball, and they come up with it. Oh, that's a high tackle. Surely a high tackle. Referee Cummins missed it. There really is some power and, well, I was going to use the word punch down there, perhaps a bit too much punch at the moment. Saints then, in possession.
There seems to be a lot going on in the tackle area at the moment.
John Long. Martin, nice slip ball there to Sonny Nicholl. He's got an overlap out here, but that's good covering.
All the way.
David Ferner coming across well there. Martin.
40-20!
Skidded along the ground. Martin there looking for a 40-20 kick.
Yeah, there's a great opportunity for the 40-20. I think he would be disappointed because, you know, the grass is wet. It just skims across the floor and just got the angle wrong.
Yeah, right, we'll leave that. I'll sort that
Twickenham, the ultimate venue for one or of these two sides, or the others who left in. We started out with 62 amateur teams.
That's tackle one! Tackle one!
Christmas.
Stand up!
That's Villeneuve and Toulouse. But now down with the big boys.
That's two. Hey, this side, make a 10 and wait. Wait for his foot.
Terry Newton. Barrow.
That's three. And again, here we go. Make it 10, David. Wait for his foot. Here he's going early.
Johns. Gary Connolly. Great rivalry between Newlove and Connolly, former Great Britain centres. Dallas.
What? Make him hold a 10.
On that fifth tackle. Lamb. Cowie outside him.
You're off, Dave, you're off, you're off, there. Through, take it through.
Sullivan
That's
just
one.
quite content to bring that ball away. Wellens. Not given much chance of playing earlier in the week with that damaged eye socket, but the specialist has cleared him. Sean Hoppy. Great Kiwi wingman. But Saints having difficulty getting away from this 20-metre area. Peter Shields there from Newcastle Knights. David Furley. Oh, another high tackle.
Okay, Dennis.
Well, no need for interference.
All right, we've got it. Move back. We've got it. It's sorted. Move back, David, please.
Not the first one of the day. That's really high. Any higher need to miss, to be honest. But that's the second or third. Watch this. Bang. The intent was there. He wasn't going low then.
Hey, Sean, that's twice you've been in now. I'm not going to ignore it. Stay out of it.
Well, David Ferner making his presence felt for Wigan. And for St Helens, good kick from Tommy Martin. Nicholl really enjoying this match. Second spell with St Helens after 3 seasons with Bradford. Still no score, 10 minutes gone.
Right, make it 10.
Long. Martin. Good ball to Wellens. Dallas did well. He came in for that. Flopping.
Right, you're too late, Brett. The tackle's already complete. You're dropping on. Drop on.
And Paul Scottlob is struggling. He's not moving comfortable at all. His shoulder. This is the flop. Here he goes. Gets him on the floor. Bang. Late. Penalty.
The flop there, Jonathan, not so much to do damage to the player, but to delay the play of the ball that vital second.
Just to organise the defence, right? That's all it does.
And as you say, Paul Sculthorpe struggling a little bit with that injury, but that won't be on Sean Long's mind here. And I think the fact that they are going for goals after just 11 minutes show how important points will be in this match. Long. No.
There's certainly on the St Helens bench concern about Paul Sculthorpe, who's obviously injured his jaw. He's in great pain. Surely his jaw can't be broken, but Sculthorpe's obviously feeling it. He got up very slowly from the last tackle that he was involved in. They're keeping a very close eye on him. It would be a very serious loss if Sculthorpe had to come up at this stage.
Paul Wellens. Joints running down his favourite left channel. And here's the incident, Jonathan.
Right, release Neil,
Nothing
release.
really in that. Maybe just caught his head on the jaw or something.
Or even caught his shoulder, I think. Whatever.
And out.
Sculthorpe is persevering. Cunningham wants a quick play of the ball. Joint again. Oh, beautiful run now from Joint. He's looking for support. He's got Sullivan there. Can Sullivan get to the line? He does. A try for St Helens. Down the left-hand side. Anthony Sullivan. Terrific burst by Chris Joint. His favourite left side. Sullivan cutting back inside. And his 190th try in a Saints jersey.
What he does, Gary Conley goes out to the line, thinks he's got him, spins out of the tackle. What's the angle run of Sullivan? Gets his hands free the tackle Joint and gets over. That's great play by both players. Here he goes, breaks the Connolly tackle, spins through. What's Sullivan? He comes inside off his wing. Joint gets his hands free. Great finishing, great play by Chris Joint.
Terrific support play.
Chris Joint is absolutely magnificent form. Last season, this season, he's just the forward in Great Britain.
Sean Longden with his second attempt. A difficult wind here at Nosey-Dode. It really is swirling around. It's quite powerful. But there's no problem with that kick, straight between the uprights. St Helens then in the lead here against their great rivals, much to the delight of that St Helens crowd there. 6-0.
There you go, just watch. It's a long ball by Kieran Cunningham, and Conley comes out the line, but he just spins and leaves him go. And watch Sullivan on the left-hand side, his angle leaves his winger, just comes in and scores. Great try.
Right, no penalty. Tackle down.
And Nickel from the restart.
Okay, tackle one, stand up.
Really
Terry.
getting through a lot of work here,
Come on, Terry, go
Sonny
on.
Nickel. Llewellyn.
Right, that's two. Stand up, stand up. Hold. Okay.
David Burley. Another
That's three.
forward
Stand
from
up,
overseas,
Dennis.
from
Right, Dennis.
Newcastle Knights, 5
Neil.
Aussie Test caps.
Come on, Neil.
Nice snip pass there to Cunningham. Cunningham on the charge. Oof.
I
Well,
got him. Right, it's all right, I've got it. Sorry. Neil. Right, I know. Once it is. Neil. All right, we got it. Neil. Right, you've ended up in his head. You started off here, but you've got to be more careful, right? It's reckless. Come on, keep him down.
Here he goes. Oof. I think he blamed the wrong guy there. Terry Newton had caught him, but he was ducking into it slightly. But the shots are extremely high at the moment.
well, he certainly got the wrong man, because I think Terry Newton was the man who went in high.
Yeah, they were both involved in the tackle, but Cowie was behind him, and Terry Newton got the shot. But this guy's a tough player, this Kieran Cunningham.
Oh, he's a hard man, all right. Had a terrific World Cup with Wales, the only British player to be voted into the World 13. Kieran Cunningham, number 9. Saints then on the attack, and it's Cunningham again. Shield, that little one-handed pass back to Cunningham. That will be another 6, I think. Well picked up. Yes, giving another 6 tackles. It was knocked down by Wigan. Paul Newland. And Wigan really attacking down this left wing. Sorry, St Helens attacking down this left wing. Here they are again. Chris Joint is going for the line himself. Chris Joint is going. And Chris Joint is over. Chris Joint spotted the gap. He had the confidence to go for it. His 100th try of his St Helens career. Inspiration from the skipper, and Saints increase that lead.
Here he goes again, acting havoc, throws the dummy, everyone goes. But he's still got a lot to do. That's a fantastic step. Beats Terry Newton, all ends up, and it's powering it over. Captain Fantastic, the fans call him, and look at this. The dummy throws Cowie, The step beats Terry Newton, and then head down, and body angle is brilliant, and power takes him over.
But I think you see here, Jonathan, that when this ball comes out, it's that man Cunningham again who keeps it going, isn't it?
Yeah, but this was when they had the ball again. Betts goes for the interception, knocks it on. A great pick-up there, but that was the sixth tackle they needed.
And some sloppy work marking around the defence there. Really, when you have a play the ball near the line, there should be a massed defence around that play the ball. There wasn't, and we're going to paying for it. Long again. With another 2 points. St Helens then, leading by 12 points to nil, but let nobody get carried away with this between these two sides. Anything can happen, and it usually does.
Here he goes, watch him, throws the dummy, steps Newton, great feet for a big man. It's just power and pace, turns him over. Great try.
We've said a lot, Jonathan, about the two new signings at half-back. This really is the first full-blooded match Wigan have played. It may take some time to adjust.
Yeah, they've had a couple of friendlies, but, you know, I think the experience of the one game against the Broncos has made a difference at the start of this game.
Paul Sculthorpe is back on the St Helens bench. The doctor's been having a look at him. The injury seems to be beneath his right eye, the cheekbone and the jaw area. The information on that injury has been passed to the Saints coach Ian Millwood up in the stands, so Ian Millwood knows exactly what the situation is. Sculthorpe has taken some pain-killing tablets, and maybe he can get back into this game at some point.
Paul Sculthorpe then in trouble down there, but it really is a hard battle in rugby league these days up front with the forwards. The two packs here averaging somewhere around 6'3" and 16 stone apiece. It makes you wonder, the first pack that St Helens ever put out in a cup final way back in 1897 averaged 5'8" and 12 stone 6. You could have played prop, Jonathan, actually.
No thanks, Ray, to be honest, but it's one of these things. At the moment, they're just dominating possession, aren't they? And they're controlling the game.
Wigan then. Don't creep. In that St Helens half. Back to Johns. Johns slipped back inside there. Good pass to Betts. Nice slip pass to Newton. This is better from Wigan now. Adrian Lamb to Renault. Good hand off there from Renault. He may lack that extra yard he once had, but he's certainly got the power.
And there you go, look at the possession, 70%, you know, and that's why they're winning this game 12-0. They need to get the ball, Wigan. And there it is.
And they've got it. Gary Connolly in for the try, surely, and it's awarded. Well, I said anything could happen here. I said hold your breath. And there is Gary Connolly, former St Helens player. Superb kick across the field there.
Yeah, they've got position, field position for a start. There's a tremendous kick by Lamb. He hangs it up there, and there's a great chase. Whether they're offside, I'd like to see that again, to be honest. The Saints. Here is the kick. Head down, he knows where it's going. It's a great chase. Well, too clean. They won't be happy with that defence.
Well, referee Stuart Cummins had no hesitation in awarding the try. I'm sure Ray Tennant, the video referee, was having a good look at that, but his services not called upon. And what should be a comparatively easy kick for Andy Farrell. So Wigan hitting back just at the right time. Good kick. 12-6 to St Helens, 20 minutes gone.
Here we go. Are they offside? Let's have a look. There's the kick. They're not in shot. Well, it's difficult to say. They could go maybe a couple of yards, or Cummins' call. He had the choice to go for the video, did not.
Neil Cowie. I'm telling everyone that this could be his last season. 33 years of age.
Yeah, he's been a great servant to Wigan. There he is, and to Wales.
Former Rochdale Hornets player. And he's partner in crime up front there, Terry O'Connor, captain of Ireland in the World Cup. Two teams really packed with stars. Farrell. Interesting to see Andy Farrell. He's doing more of a running game, Jonathan, now that Johns has arrived.
Yeah, with the half-back partnership that they've got, you know, he can run out wider and pass, so he'll be loving the extra space.
Fifth tackle. Johns looking for a fumble, I think, here from Wellens. Oh, beautifully taken by the youngster. Nothing wrong with his eyesight. And a good quick play the ball. Tim Yonkers the substitute on.
Great take there by young Wellens.
Wigan pick up the ball. David Ferner. Lamb. Connolly. Once again, Martin. Oh, and he's lost the ball, but it went behind. That could be a knock on.
First one by Saints. Right, so scrum, it's Wigan ball.
Good tackle again. He loses the ball here. Lamb goes it. A hand comes over. I thought it was Newlove. Scrum, Wigan ball. Good decision.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Wigan, as we can see, they lose the ball behind the player there. Johns then.
Come on, get out, Paul! Make it, David.
Gary Connolly looking for the action on the opposite side of the field. Lamb, good switch. Farrell. Nice dummy, but well tracked by Joint. And notice the tackling of Martin. Martin at standoff is moving along the back division there.
Down. That's three. Kieran, get up!
Sort of in the role of a sweeper. Terry O'Connor. Certainly the weather isn't stopping the handling.
Four, Sonny, get up!
Certainly coming back into the game now, aren't they? They've got possession.
They've got possession in this 20-metre area too. That's the vital area. Sonny Nicholl again. Good tackle. Good stopping the movement there. Saints really have to crowd Wigan out in the middle. Here's Farrell. Oh, Dallas is about. Well taken this time by Sullivan.
Yeah, it's very difficult, the slippery surface. You know, you shouldn't leave the ball to bounce, and that's where these half-backs are just placing them just in front of the back three.
Yeah, no worries.
The modern ball, of course, Jonathan, has this sort of tacky surface, but of course on the surface, on the ground, you can never tell how it will bounce.
Well, you never know where it's going to go.
Steve, line up!
Wigan settling down now. Martin.
40-20, didn't send you.
That's a huge kick from Martin. Forcing Radlinski right back, 80 metres. He's got Brett Dallas with him. But Dallas has about half a dozen St Helens defenders. Yes, lying on.
David, too long in there.
Ian Miller will be disgusted with that.
Let him get on
It was
slide,
a
Gary, don't go
tremendous
yet.
kick.
Let him get
A
on slide.
solid chase and an ill discipline to hold him down. Watch Eddie go Fairley's on top of him. He's never going to get up there, and that's stupid play.
Well, I couldn't see the point, Jonathan, of holding anybody down here because none of the Wigan players were back, and really Saints wanted a quick play of the ball, didn't they?
Yeah, the chase was very good, and they should have just let him go up quick and use the tackles up.
6 points the difference then between the two sides. Tries for Sullivan and Jones.
Where's the flag?
And one
Where's the flag?
from a former Saint. Oh, Gary Connolly.
Right, no penalties.
O'Connor.
Right, that's one, get out, get out! Come on, Chris! Oh, Kieran!
Harvey Howard's first touch of the ball. Harvey Howard, another new signing by Wigan over the winter. His father gained a cup winners medal with St Helens in '56.
Yep, and Furness not having the best of starts. So knock-on, he's given a penalty away, and I think he had his eye on the St Helens defence there.
It's interesting though, Jonathan, the roars that go up every time somebody loses the ball. Possession is so vital between these two teams.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that they're playing at Knowsley Road, so any knock-on by Wigan will be cheered.
There's another knock-on.
And another one.
They really are having difficulties.
Very strange putting Shields at standoff there, you know. You don't want him to play football, do you? You just want to take him in there. Look at that, there he is. Biggest guy in the field. playing a little bit of football.
He does like to pass the ball, though, this lad, Peter Shears. Reminds me of Derek McVeigh used to be here at St Helens a couple of years
He's
ago.
a great player.
Get up, fellas, get up.
There's a handling errors, but that's the way St Helens play.
Right, get in,
You know,
get in.
they throw the
Get in,
ball
Andy.
about. They know they're going to get handling errors, but it might be a double bluff there by putting Shield at standoff, because they think he's going to charge in, and then just a little offload.
That's good play by Wigan, and bad play there by Kevin Iro, allowing himself to be taken over towards that touchline.
You don't see that very either. The beast getting dragged on the ground over the touchline.
Yeah. Right, get in, fellas. Tim, get in your face.
And it's that man, Steve Runoff, that's doing it. There he is.
And Johnson is there.
Bad mistake. Gary Connolly.
Hey, tackle wall, let him up, Chris. Hands out. Wait for his foot. No
Wigan
penalties.
have the momentum at the moment. David Ferner.
That's two, clear. Come on, move.
I remember playing against his dad. Good grief. Harvey Howard. And I remember watching his dad. Newton. Whoa, good slip pass. That's good play around the ruck area there. Good running there from Chris Radlinski. Timed his entry. Wigan looking powerful now. None more so than that man Ferner. Lamb. Matthews Jones, he's got some space. Lamb again. Good tackle.
Tim, get up, Tim. Move.
Tim Yonkers, the young substitute, came in well there. On the fifth tackle. Jones. Delicate little rubber kick. Now then, did that hit the referee? Did that
Time off. Right, it's all right.
touch the ground? Has Newton got the try?
No, it didn't.
It did.
It doesn't matter. It didn't affect play. Right, we're having a look to see if he grounded the ball.
Throw the ball up.
Doesn't matter. Didn't affect the play. Didn't affect the play, Paul.
Very
Right.
interesting.
See if he grounded the ball, please.
Paul Newler says the ball touches him, does it?
It
Yes,
does.
it does, and it slows the ball down.
Yep.
So it's not a try, though, so...
No.
But Paul Newler was right.
Well, that's what I thought immediately, Jonathan. I mean, to me, to hear Stuart Cummins say that it didn't affect the play, any ball that touches a referee affects the play.
Well, if it touches the referee, what Paul Newler said was it slowed the ball down and allowed Terry Newton to nearly get there. But that is not a try, so they can get on with it.
But I think it lets everybody off the hook, doesn't it?
Even Cummins.
Everybody looking at the big screen. And it's no try. Relief all round for the St Helens fans.
Right, stay behind, fellas.
But certainly, I think if a try had been allowed, that ricochet from Stuart Cummins would have been a talking point.
Yes, definitely, but that's a tremendous kick by Tommy Martin. Spots the gap. Johnson tried to get it, but couldn't get to it, so it's St Helens ball on halfway.
Andy, get in.
Sean Long.
Hey, fellas, stand up, please. Stand up. Get up, fellas. Get up. Get up.
Both of these teams, before kick-off, 3-1 joint favourites to lift the Silkcut Challenge Cup. Bradford at 4-1, Leeds at 9-2.
That's one. Let him rock. Andy, you've got to have your head in there.
Certainly the winner today will be installed as the favourite. Sean Long looking for the gap. Oh, he's thrown it back. Play on.
Zero. Let him up.
Ambitious pass.
Such contrasting styles at the moment. Saints are throwing the wide ball, trying to get the ball to Newell and to Iro, whereas the new half-back partnership of Wigan are just like feeding inside balls all the time and picking runners up on the inside.
St Helens then, guilty of holding down. Wigan back on the attack. Just 10 minutes remaining then in this first half. Wigan forwards driving in around this ruck area, playing a tighter, shorter game. Lamb to Harvey Howard. Picked up a winner's medal with the Brisbane Broncos last year. Johns back inside to Ferner. Oh, the tackle!
Let him up.
Newton, good long pass. Lamb, Charles got the gap. Oh, not the best of passes, but Radlinski did well.
That's Ball, leave him,
Good
Peter.
cover defence there by St Helens. Still Wigan piling the pressure on. Andy Farrow
Last. Kieran, get out.
on the 5th tackle. Now then, will we see a little grubber kick? Lock on. Good pressure there from St Helens. I think Wigan were looking to put the kick in, but Cassidy just coming on the field as a substitute. I don't think quite warmed up.
No penalty.
Couldn't take the pass.
But again, the inside ball, that's what they're looking for.
I would think both of these coaches, Jonathan, Ian Millward and Frank Endicott, have studied endless videos of the opposite side. They know exactly where the ball's going to go.
Well, they played each other so much 5 times last year, so you know there's not much new. Maybe the odd new player, but not much else.
4. Leave him. Hammy.
Peter Shields, 6'5". Sean Long.
Last.
And there he is, Maurice Lindsay back in the Wigan box there.
40-20.
Oh, good kick. Now then, looking to the touch judge down this near side, Mr. Hewitt, as to who touched that ball.
Nearly touched him.
And Stuart Cummings reckons that nobody did.
Nearly a 40-20, just a
go,
couple
fellas.
of yards off. Watch this again, the angled kick.
Make sure you get that tackle on time. Don't
Straight
drop
at
one
the
leg.
cameraman. Mistake there. Did he touch it? I thought he did.
Fellas.
Just nicked it.
It was a bit like the goalkeeper with the legs open, wasn't it?
All right, tackle 1. Leave him, Sean. Here, Tim. Come on.
Dennis Betts
Serves, come on, Stage, to get his slack on these 10.
concentrating on his rugby now at Wigan,
That's better.
retired from international rugby last
3.
year.
And again, come on, make the 10. Come on, Tommy.
Peter Shields limping quite badly too for St Helens, having lost Sculthorpe. That would be bad. Good tackle again from Martin. Still there. Manages to get the ball away. Well, the referee insisting that the momentum hadn't stopped.
Watch on, no.
But it's a knock
Ball
on.
hit the arm. Right, hit the arm.
Interesting play there from referee Stuart Cummings. When the player hits the floor, if the momentum stops, then it's a tackle, but he judged that it wasn't.
Well, I don't think he was held, to be honest. He was on the floor, but again, it's great scrambling defence, and anyone on the floor, anyone on the ground at the moment just gets smashed.
Martin.
Well, Saints
Right,
have
that's
no
one.
doubt
Come on,
somebody organised to try to stem this obvious advantage that Wigan have at this point in the game. Sean Hoppy has been moved into the pack to replace Sonny Nicol, and Tony Stewart is on the field, so Saints trying some unusual ploys maybe to try and wrest back the advantage from Wigan here.
I think one of the problems too, Jonathan, is St Helens have 4 very young lads on the substitutes bench. Average age 20. If you lose the likes of Nicol and Sculthorpe, you lose a lot up front, don't you?
Yeah, and in contrast, the Wigan bench is very, very strong of 3 forwards, 3 experienced forwards.
Come on, no penalties. No penalties.
Wigan restricting St Helens' movement of this ball.
Onside.
Martin.
Play on.
That's a delicately placed kick. It puts pressure on Dallas. He's got to pick that up.
Right, tackle 1. Leave it, Chris. Here I am.
Certainly runs hard though, doesn't he? When he gets the ball, Dallas, he's just head down and goes for it.
Certainly is.
Peter, you're late. Late, come on.
Another late tackle.
Yeah, David Fairley again. He goes, Joint's got him, runs out, and maybe there he is, he comes in, he missed the first tackle, Fairley, so down, just slows him down a little bit again.
Harvey Howard on the charge. Penalties very much even. Mick Cassidy coming on, top tackler for last year for
Leave him.
Wigan.
Leave him.
Johns, good slip past to Farrell. Farrell going through down that left-hand side, but again good tackling. This time by another half-back there, Sean Long. Wigan on the attack again. Johns to Adrian Lamb. Joint snuffing out the danger. Newton having a good game at around that ruck area. Was injured over the World Cup period, otherwise would probably have made a bid for the England hooking spot. on the 5th tackle. Lamb again with a kick. Oh! Now then.
He's in the 10. He's in the 10. Offside.
Offside.
Class. Mick, that penalty, mate. He's in the 10. Offside.
There he goes, yeah. Well, he was a knock on, but the referee said he was in the 10 metres, so let's have a look at it again.
David! Just on, please.
Well, that's interesting. I thought that he got that wrong, to be honest.
Right, let's go. I'll have a look at it in a minute. If it's not gone, he goes off, all right? Let's go.
Well then, another St Helens player, this time Peter Shield, suffering. They really are struggling up front there with the pack, and as I say, just a couple of young forwards, Jonkers and Stankovic, via Matalti, of course, crying off
No penalties.
this morning.
Okay,
The big Samoan forward.
Here we go. No penalties.
Saints will want Shields to stay on. Tim Jonkers, one of the young prospects here, picked up a try in the grand final against Wigan. A lot of pressure on these two big Australians, the new signings, David Furley and Shields. Sean Long. Back to Wellens. Nice slip movement there by Wellens. Shields, Jonkers loses the ball.
It's been playing a ferocious pace. It's the quickest game I've seen for a long, long time. The hits are phenomenal as well. It's bound to take its toll in the second half. Injuries, you know, it's a couple of the Saints boys are carrying injuries.
You wonder what condition they'll be in the last 10 minutes, Jonathan.
Oh, it's incredible, you know, it's got to be the toughest game in the world.
Parrow driving in.
Paul, leave him! And wait, fellas, 4 tackles, no penalties now.
And Cassidy having a well-earned testimonial at Wigan. Lamb certainly showing off his kicking skills. That's another beautiful effort. Really putting the pressure on that youngster on that Saints wing there.
Again, the crossfield kick. Good play there. He judged it exceptionally well. It's been a difficult ball to take and just leaves it bouncing the touch so they can regroup and start.
Stay outside, stay in.
St Helens will just want to hold
Right,
the ball here.
you.
It's a half time, just a couple of minutes remaining. They'll be quite content to go in leading 12-6. Shields, good slip pass to Chris Joint. Again, Joint causing mayhem down this left-hand side. He really does look to come down this touch line.
He's got great feet for a big man, Chris Joint.
Cunningham. A lot of responsibility on that lad Cunningham there to make the breaks around the ruck. Shields lost the ball.
Okay, knock on. We got it.
He does like to offload the ball, this big, giant 6'5" Aussie.
He was on, but with a slippery ball, just rolled out of the palm of his hand, just went forward.
There's certainly conditions or whatever, it doesn't stop St Helens' style of play, does it?
That's the last chance, last set of 6 maybe for Wigan.
That's one, let him on, Kevin, Sean! Here we go. No penalties from here, fellas.
Lamb. To Betts.
And 2, I'm here. Let him up, wait for his foot. 3!
That was a forcing tackle.
Go back.
Barrow to Furner. Tommy Martin again putting a lot of tackles in as the Saints stand off. Connolly boxed in a little, I think. The 5th tackle, seconds remaining. Will it be a high ball? I think it will. There it is. Oh, beautifully taken. You couldn't ask for better than that from young Stewart. Right on half-time.
Superb take. Just come on. And it's been amazing. In the first 20 minutes, there was 18 points scored, and the last 20, no points scored. I just think that Wigan now have adjusted to the pace of the game. Like I said, St Helens had a big match against the Brisbane Broncos, so now it's all even Stevens, and it'll be a very, very interesting second half.
Very interesting second half, I think, as well. I think it'll be interesting to see whether St Helens can get those two forwards back on the field, Nicol and Sculthorpe.
Yeah, Sculthorpe, you know, he did look as if he damaged something. I wasn't sure if his jaw or his shoulder, but he is a footballing forward and he gives St Helens a lot of options, so they will miss him and they'll try and get him back on the field, but anyone's game at half-time.
Certainly is. There is Sculthorpe, and it looks a very, very quiet Wigan dressing room. Sit down, settle down, take a breather. They're only 6 points behind, but racking 40 minutes in store.
Respects, it was the match that we were hoping for, and Martin O'Fire, what has impressed you most about that first half?
The performance of Chris Joynt. You know, he's been a man for all seasons, a man for all competitions. He came out, you know, scored one himself, made one for Sullivan, took many drives in. Kieran Cunningham showed why he's the best hooker in the world with the surges he's made out of dummy half, and New Love and Ira, I think, have played all over their opposition out wide. So, you know, St Helens have done very well. Wigan didn't really wake up till after 20 minutes, by which time St Helens already had 12 points on the board.
Yeah, St Helens seemed to take a strong grip in that first quarter of the match, largely, as you say, through to the contribution of Chris Joynt. Let's take a look at the two St Helens tries, both crafted by Chris Joynt in different kinds of ways. Yeah,
Joynt is just fell off the tackle here. Strength, Connolly, you know, a bit of a bad miss. Gary, very good centre. He doesn't normally miss tackles like that. Sullivan sees what's happening, reads the play very well, and a good pass here. I thought he actually was going to drop it, but he managed to cling on to it, and Sully, the great finisher that he is, you know, this is meat and drink to him.
So that will be St Helens 6 points ahead. And you must really admire Chris Joynt's nimbleness, his fleetness of foot, the steps that he puts in. And
Chris, you know, has been a great player for a long time, but over the last couple of seasons, I don't know if it's the captaincy or what, he just seems to have, you know, improved leaps and bounds, and, you know, at the moment, it's probably the best forward in the country. He
showed just about his entire repertoire in that second try, didn't he?
Oh, very much so. I think it was a lot of sloppy work from, I think it was Neil Cowie, who was at half-back, or sorry, at Acton half. I think that they're starting the game a bit early here, so they're starting to try a bit early here.
Well, that was the Wigan mistake, which really turned over possession and led to
Kevin Ira with a great pick-up here, which I think led to this position. There's a Neil Cowie there, sloppy mark defence with Connolly. He steps inside Newton there and just goes low and gets the try. It was a combination of bad play by Wigan and good play by Chris Joynt. And Wigan seemed to start the game off, you know, very slow. They looked underprepared. Saints hit the ground running. Obviously, they've had the big game against Brisbane Broncos. But Wigan, I don't know if they expected an early, easy game, you know, first up against a low division side. But now, you know, they've started the competition with a very tough tie, and it's taken them at least 20 minutes to get on the board.
But they are firmly back in that match, and it needed something special to get them back in the match, and this was the Gary Connolly try, and a great kick and a great take.
Yeah, great kick, and that's a classic rugby league six-tackle play, the crossfield kick, something that Bobby Gold and my club does very well. Comes out, is it Lamb that kicks it?
Adrian Lamb.
Adrian Lamb kicks it, and Helen's defence made a bit of a mess of this. Gary Connolly comes in, great jump, takes the ball, not a man on him. Manages to put the ball down. Wigan really needed that to get back in the game. I think the last 10 minutes of the game, they showed that they were getting into the game. But having said that, there's a lot of uncharacteristic areas from Wigan. As I said, they look a bit underprepared, but as I said before...
As the match has progressed, they got slowly more and more back into things. Incredibly physical game, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very physical game. St Helens side look very well prepared for this game. They're up for it physically and mentally in front of a home crowd. Who can back against them?
We will talk more before the start of the second half. Let's turn our attention, though, to Premiership football, though, and Ray Stubbs has the half-time story there.
There aren't a hatful of goals, but there are some very significant ones. First of all, let's take a look at all the scores so far in the FA Carling Premiership. And the significant goal, you would imagine, most people will think, has been scored at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea lead Manchester United by 1-0. John Motson will tell us about the first 45 minutes.
Well, no great surprise about the goal scorer, Ray. 24 minutes, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who scored against Manchester United in 3 different games now this season, but unusually the way was paved by an England player, Paul Scholes, who was trying to head the ball back to his goalkeeper, who is Raymond van der Gaal, by the way, in for the injured Barthez, and I don't think Scholes saw Hasselbank there. The Chelsea man just had a nod in acceptance, and they were 1 up. It could have been 2. Jesper Grønkjær, the Danish winger, is giving Gary Neville a really hard time, and at the end of the half he breaks broke clear and shot and had his effort saved when perhaps a chip to Hasselbank could have made it 2-0. It's a really good contest, the passing of a high order on both sides. You'll never know how many times Roy Keane has rushed down the centre of the field to inspire Manchester United, and I sense it's going to go that way again in the second half. A very keenly contested game. Chelsea certainly fulfilling all their recent home form under Ranieri, and in Gronchier they've signed a real star.
No goals, but let's get the story of fourth against third at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland against Liverpool from Tony Gubber.
Yes, you could accurately describe this as a full-blooded encounter. It's been a little bit niggly at times on a slippy, wet surface, and Graham Barber, the referee, has had to show the yellow card already 3 times. Kevin Phillips is really the man of the half. Although there's been no goals, he's been involved in all the incidents. One penalty appeal, certainly from the spectators, after a challenge in the area from Honcho, which left him on the floor. Phillips with a shot which also produced a good save from Vesterveld, turned around for a corner, and another shot that went wide. For Liverpool, where they've lost Emil Heskey, who picked up an ankle injury under a challenge from Varga. He went off after 20-odd minutes. He's being replaced now by Lippmann. It's difficult at the moment to see where a goal is going to come from, but this game is in need of one.
Thanks, Tony. Now to Highbury, 0-0 against Ipswich, but John Champion will give us the story of the first half.
Don't be deceived by the scoreline, Ray. Very one-sided this. Arsenal have dominated, and only 4 fine saves from Richard Wright in the Ipswich goal have denied them. Bergkamp, Wiltord, Lauren and Ashley Cole all left shaking their heads by Wright's consummate work. And as the half wore on, Ipswich, with 5 strung across the midfield, gradually found their feet without ever really threatening David Seaman. His only save, a fumbling effort from a Roycer free kick. Arsenal deserve to be in front, but quite simply, they're not.
There has been a goal at Villa Park. Villa 1, Middlesbrough 0. Steve Lee's watching this game.
The bald head of Steve Stone, one of the smallest players on the pitch today, has come to Villa's aid on a drizzly afternoon in Birmingham. He rose unchallenged from Steve Staunton's corner to head the home side ahead 6 minutes before the break. The game certainly needed a goal. Up until then, for all Villa's territorial advantage, Borough had soaked up most of the danger, but one defensive lapse allowed Villa in. Borough didn't venture too far forward in the first half, but Christian Carambal's curling right footer forced James to pull off one acrobatic save. Paul Merson, again the outstanding player on view. His promptings fell on stony ground until Stone's unlikely opening goal.
Are Everton fans going to see their first home victory for just on 2 months? They have 2 goals against Leicester. Andrew James is watching this game.
Indeed they should do, Ray. Everton comfortably in control thanks to a goal apiece at either end of the half from both the leading scorers. Francis Jeffers celebrated his first start since September with the opening goal. He beat Simon Royce at the second attempt after Gravison supplied the pass. Royce then produced an outstanding save to deny Watson's header at point-blank range, and although Leicester huffed and puffed from distance, Everton went further in front when David Weir charged out of defence before supplying the pass from which Kevin Campbell drove in his 8th goal of the season. Leicester look out of sorts. Everton have really looked better this season at least.
Now Ivan Gasker will tell us if there's anything to get excited about at Leeds against Derby. Ivan, what's the story of this one?
Well, Ray, we could only get excited by dreaming about it. I think goals look a long way off here. It's a game that so far matched the Yorkshire weather. Pretty miserable, I'm afraid. Very little to commend either side. Leeds have enjoyed by far the greatest share of possession, but they've singularly failed to do very much with it. And as the rain pours down, the natives, while not exactly restless, are at least fidgeting in their seats. The biggest cheers today reserved for Leeds sub Harry Kewell, warming up by the touchline. There'll be a bigger one when he comes on, which, on the evidence so far, he surely will. We need cheering up here.
Well, Harry Grayson will always cheer us up, and surely he'll conjure something up. If I've been watching Manchester City against Spurs, will Spurs ever get a goal, do you think, Harry?
Well, I'm frozen, I don't know about anything else, but a shortage of clear chances, Ray. City have threatened perhaps the most, with Huckabee, Tiato and Kanchelskis on a number of occasions. But Spurs went desperately close when Rebrov's superb pass found Leonardson. It was just offside, but Weaver's fine save is worthy of mention anyway. City were desperately unlucky, though, on 40 minutes. Huckabee's run, King's deflection, and the ball hit the post and bounced across the line back into Sullivan's arms. But the game is opening up. We might get a goal in the second half.
Now to the Dell. Southampton against Bradford. Steve May.
Well, a highly satisfactory scoreline that for Bradford against this Southampton side who've won 7 of their last 9 here. with goalkeeper Gary Walsh hardly being called upon thanks to workmanlike performances, particularly from Robert Molinar and Andy O'Brien. But it's fair to say that Paul Jones at the other end has been a spectator too, but it's been a very wet Dell surface which has deprived us of a Southampton goal and very nearly gave us a Bradford goal. James Beattie slipping 5 yards out as Tessam's cross was winging its way into him, and then Dean Saunders was given a run on goal when Lundekvam slipped on the halfway line, but Saunders ultimately was forced wide. 0-0.
Now, nationwide Division 1 half-time scores. Fulham being held at Barnsley. Huddersfield winning away at second place Bolton. Goals from Martin Smith and Kevin Gallen. That could be a welcome win for Huddersfield. Unbeaten in 9, but still a little bit of trouble. Second place Bolton have a great home record. Paul Cook's got Burnley's goal against Crystal Palace. 0-0, 0-0, quite a few 0-0. Sheffield United beating Birmingham by 2-0. Sean Murphy and Paul Devlin. Sheffield United just outside the playoff places. Need to win that if they need to try and climb up. It's so tight at the bottom, and Tranmere need to pull back, being beaten at home by Wolves so far by a goal to none at half-time. That's a Sean Flynn own goal. So tight at the bottom of the table. Watford had a 2-0 lead against Portsmouth, just inside the playoff places, Watford, but Portsmouth fought back. Nigel Quasi and Steve Claridge have got 2 goals. It's 2-2 at Vicarage Road. In 4th place, West Bromwich Albion, through Jason Roberts, have a goal advantage against Stockport County. And Wimbledon 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Sheffield Wednesday, bottom of the table, really aren't having a great time of it. Successive relegations? Who knows? Only 3 games in the Scottish Premier League. Hibs beat St Mirren 4-2 at lunchtime. 0-0 Dunfermline against Dundee United. Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 0. Right. Hatful of goals in the second half. Of course, there'll be an avalanche of Premier League goals to tell you about later, but now let's get back to Knowsley Road and Steve Ryder.
And here at Knowsley Road, we're at the halfway point of a fantastic 4th round Challenge Cup tie. St Helens leading Wigan by 12 points to 6. All the points coming in the first 20 minutes. And Martin O'Fire, perhaps the telling feature as we enter the second half, is the way that Wigan more than held their own in the last 20 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, in the latter stages of the first half, Wigan started to come back into the game. It's finally poised now. They're only 6 points behind. 40 minutes to go, and you know, everything's to play for.
And it may well be the depth and the strength of the respective benches that decides this.
Yeah, but the St Helens have only got a young bench, but as I said, they've got the experience. They've had the big game already this season, which I've already mentioned. Wigan probably got the more experienced bench, but players who haven't really played much this season.
So absolutely in the balance, you feel?
Oh, without a doubt.
OK, 12 points to 6, though. St Helens lead, and we're heading into the second half as St Helens head out of the dressing room. We're back with Jonathan Davis and Ray French.
Yes, very much in the balance, as Martin O'Fire says. But St Helens in the lead, and I'm just scanning that team as it comes out here, because I really do think, Jonathan, the problem for Saints in that final 20 minutes of the first half have been in the pack.
Yeah, they lost 2 big players, didn't they? Sculthorpe and Nichols have gone off, and like you said, Ray, it's a very young, inexperienced bench, so maybe although they're 6 points in front, the advantage has slowly swung towards Wigan favour. They've adjusted to the pace of the game, as Martin said. They were caught cold a little bit, but now it's a big 40 minutes.
Yep, and certainly tomorrow Martin will be in action. Lee and Salford there from Hilton Park over there in Lee, and another fascinating game. I wouldn't like to tip the winner of that one, but this is the one we win. 40 minutes remaining then. Will it be St Helens or Wigan who continue the trail to Twickenham this year? Murrayfield last year, Twickenham this year.
I say, look at that, Chris Joint. All the offensive work he's done, look at that, 20 tackles. That's tremendous. And then you've got Wigan, Furner was sent in, and Sonny Nicol, who's off. He's been off for a while, so that's a good effort by Sonny Nicol.
Certainly Chris Joint always thereabouts. He put 50 tackles in the World Club Challenge. Wigan started off as they finished in that first half.
Leave him, Sean!
And Chris Radlinski has left the field for Wigan. He's not reappeared in the second half. He's got a dead leg. His left leg was injured sometime in the first half. So Radlinski's off. Wes Davis is on.
Okay, go on.
Wes Davis played quite a few times at full-back for Wigan. Experience in the Welsh World Cup squad in October-November.
And I'm sure, they'll pepper him with them high kicks, especially, with the wind swirling at the moment.
St St Helens steadying it down. Martin sending Davis on the back foot. He's got plenty of speed, this lad. Accustomed to being on the wing, a former St Jude's amateur player. The grandson of Billy Boston, the legendary Welsh wing.
That's two. Leave him!
I think one thing that Wigan will have to do is, you know, stop St Helens offloading in the tackle. That's the way they play, and that's the way they like to play. And maybe that's the key tactic in the second half. Here you go, look, you know, offloads, 14 for St Helens, 4 for Wigan. And that's been the biggest difference. They always seem to offload the tackle, put you under pressure. And that's the percentage, you know, that's nearly a quarter of every time they go into a tackle, they tend to offload. Very high statistic.
But really, that's very, very strange statistic for Wigan, because normally they spread it around. They're playing a much tighter game here today. Now that was superb play by the fullback. He allowed Sullivan to go in for the ball, but he placed himself for that offload.
I don't think it was. Is that what you call an offload,
well,
Ray? I know we're talking offloads. That's a bounce off the chest.
A bounce off the chest. It's you going on about offloads. I call them passes.
That wasn't a pass or an offload. A lucky break.
And one player we certainly will not be seeing again this afternoon. It's bad news really for St Helens. Paul Sculthorpe, injured in the first half, has gone off to hospital. A suspected fractured jaw, as we thought it might be. Certainly some loosened teeth, so Sculthorpe definitely in the wars.
Bad news then for St Helens. Sean Long.
Hold the 10, fellas, hold the 10! Play on, play on!
Brett Dallas using his pace to good effect, but met very well again there by Tommy Martin, really getting through a tackling stint as the Saints half-back. Paul Johnson. But Wigan still playing this very short, tight game around the ruck. Perhaps they feel they can wear down this St Helens side. They had a very, very hard game in that World Club Challenge against Brisbane Broncos.
4! Back and wait, back and wait! Back and wait!
The pitch, very heavy underneath. Newton to Johns. Nice slip inside to Farrow.
Play on!
Lamb, that's a good ball to run off. Wellens again. Rides it well. Beats two men beautifully. Real confidence, this youngster. No wonder Ian Millward was very, very keen for him to recover from that damaged eye socket.
Lovely ball. I think that's flat. That's what they call a flat pass. Gets the kick away. He's taken late. But great play by Wellens.
Hurley, good slip pass to Yonkers. Young lad did well to hold on to that. He was tempted to pass. St Helens then moving forward now. Cunningham to Long. Having a battle there with David Furner.
Yeah, a bit of a mismatch there.
And there is that man Fairley. Another 6'2", 16-stone Frank Endicott getting a little concerned. The Wigan coach, Tommy Martin. Oh, a superb cross kick. It's a tester. Just about gets it.
6.
And good positional play there from the referee, Stuart Cummings. Right on the spot behind. Good play from Johnson.
I think Fairley's coming off. That's Dennis Best, but Fairley's being cut.
Right, let's go, fellas. Okay, Andy. Stay behind.
Wigan then with the dropout. St Helens wanting to keep the pressure on, but that's a superb dropout. You really couldn't put a kick in better than that. Right back to the St Helens line.
Well, you can see which way the wind's going, right?
Wellens again.
Oh, what the clash. I think both Dennis Betts and Fairley's bleeding as well. He hasn't been seen yet. Great break again.
Joint again to Newlove. Terrific run down there. There's no stopping for blood fins or anything here. Martin. That's a penalty.
Came off your hand. You're offside, Wes.
Offside.
Inside ball. Yeah, he was offside. He wasn't at marker. He wasn't behind Marcus, who's clearly offside, and he's very fortunate to get the ball, to get the hand of the ball.
I just wonder, Jonathan, St Helens have put the ball into touch, whether it might have been worth going for 2 points.
Well, it's a close game, but
we'll
we'll have to wait and see.
St Helens wanting the 4 or the 6.
Backwards.
David Furley.
That's 2. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Right.
Shields.
3. Harvey, stand up, Harvey.
Other 3 tacklers remaining in this sequence, 10 metres from this Wigan line. Furley again, he's got some support on his inside here, can't get through. Good tackling there by Andy Farrell. Cunningham, going himself. Back to Iroh. Sean Hoppy.
What? Last tackle, let him up.
On the last tackle. Cunningham again. To Sean Long. It's a grubber kick. Needle's going in. Oh, just can't get there. Just a little too deep on that kick. Little bit too much force. But a good effort by St Helens, but it's the tap, not the drop.
Yeah, it's good play all around. It's a lovely little kick, just a little bit too heavy. But he goes, Newliff goes. Good play again by everyone concerned there. Dallas read the play well. Here he comes in, just shields him.
And David Furley leaving the field with the blood bin. Of course, he can come back in once that blood is stopped. And certainly Saints will want him back in. Youngster John Stankovic on the field.
Yeah, he'll need a couple of stitches in there, I think. And that's another blow. They get depleted at forward already.
St Helens lost 3 front line forwards, Jonathan. Johns, Farrell, can Wigan take advantage of that? Wigan with Cassidy, Horton, Howard as they have done with a couple of them, to throw in off the bench. All experienced men. Adrian Lamb.
Yeah.
Good tackle there by Chris Joynt.
And I think Horton's come on, Horton's come on for Dennis Betts, I think. So a very powerful runner.
Not bad when you can bring one international on for another. Stewart again takes it calmly. A Wigan-born lad who turned down a chance to play for Wigan to join the great rivals. Still just those 6 points between the two sides. Sean Hoppy. Game gutsy winger, but I think he'd rather be out on the touchline than in the back row of the pack.
Come on, Mick, all the way.
Peter Shields.
That's 4. Move, David. Wait for his foot. Onside. Number 20.
Dennis Betts having some attention. Really, everybody's going down, aren't they?
Yeah, I think he's had a crack on the head. If you see that, here he goes. Look at this. Here you go. Oh, he's had a bang there. Look at that. His gum shield, his head. So he'll have a couple of minutes in the bin. What a good replacement to bring on.
It really is, though, a tribute to the fitness and the power of these lads. They go down and they get up.
I just can't believe I played this game, right, to be honest. It's just getting tougher and tougher and tougher.
Well, I never saw you with these forwards.
Too right. And there's another one, though.
Yeah. While I played it, you only have to look at my face.
Yeah, you're right.
Harvey Howard, who's played it for a long, long time with a lot of clubs. Leeds, Bradford, Widnes, Western Suburbs, Brisbane and now Wigan. More clubs than Jack Nicklaus. But good service at every one. Oh, Dallas trying to just edge ahead of Sullivan, but the ball rolling in goal.
Great balance, Matthew Johns. Watch it, just puts a little grubber through. The chase is on by Dallas. 2 quick guys there, Dallas and Sullivan. Just rolls over the touchline.
St Helens then still leading by 12 points to 6, but under a lot of pressure from that big, heavy Wigan pack.
Right, hold it there, get in full.
Wellens.
Tackle one. Here we go. Come on, Gary. No penalties, fellas. No penalties.
John Stankovic.
Punishing physical nature of this game certainly taking its toll. Dennis Betts off on the Wigan bench. He's got an injury to his eye. Might have taken a finger in the eye. It's all bloodshot and it's watering a lot. But Dennis is back, and David Fairley of the Saints has had his cut bandaged up.
Don't need it. One actually. Harvey. Come here. Andy.
Didn't miss.
Yeah, good. Andy.
Interesting to see what he does here now.
Andy.
He's calling Andy Farrell. Watch this hit. Lines him up. Bang. That's high. He could go and report, or he could go in the bin here. He'd be lucky to stay on, actually.
Andy.
Well, I must say, Jonathan, we've had rather too many of these head-high tackles.
That's after a kick. Sorry. Right, listen, there's no doubting where the tackle ended up. I think it started around here and gone up. All right, so that's the reason you're on here. There's no latitude now. You've got to get your tackles down. It's on report, okay?
Harvey Howard then put on report. He will be dealt with on Tuesday by the disciplinary panel, but as Stuart Cummings says, no more. It's time somebody went into the sin bin, and here's another forward for St Helens going off. Peter Shields.
Yeah, but I think Sonny Nichols come back. He's recovered. I don't know what he had wrong, but you know, big change.
Yeah, looks like a substitution. Well, you can see I called them the best of enemies at the beginning, and certainly Shields having a go at somebody there. I think it was Andy Farrell.
Yeah, it was, from verbals.
The point is, Jonathan, this game means so much between these two communities, doesn't it? And £1 million at stake, really, between now and Twickenham.
Well, it's just, you know, it's a damp afternoon, you know, in these conditions, but it'll be lovely, you know, when the final comes around. They'll be in Twickenham, and it'll be worthwhile.
Saints now trying to press home down that left-hand side. Paul Newlove, good ball back inside. Good support play from Yonkers, but again another good tackle in there from Newton. Martin, Long, Nickel. Had a good 20 minutes on that bench. On the fifth tackle, Cunningham to Martin. Good ball there from Joint, coming in again. Hand it over. Interesting though, an acting half-back. We've not seen a lot of Kieran Cunningham going from the acting half-back position.
No, not yet, but the world-class player as he is, he's got a big part to play in this game.
Dallas. Wigan looking for the try and the conversion that would bring them back level. And that'll be a penalty against Sonny Nickel.
Yes.
Right, you made the tackle. If you just dropped down with your body, it would have been fine. You've dropped down with that on his head. Keep it out. There we go.
There he goes in. There's one shot. There's another shot. But then again, he goes down. Watch him with his elbow. So it's 3 shots he had there, Sonny.
Hang on. That one on.
And he pays the
Terry
penalty.
on the cross, mate. Right, wait for his foot. Ready.
There you see. Yes,
right,
he
come on,
clocks
get
down.
back on it.
In fact, Tim Yonkers almost looks instinctively for the penalty. Farrell trying to get Wigan moving out wide. But Sonny Nickel with a good tackle this time. Newton to Matthew Johns.
Where the ball stand still.
Good run there by
Ball, let him off, Sonny!
Cassidy.
Hold, fellas.
Wigan still driving at the heart of this Saints back. Oh, here's a chance. No, then.
It's off the Saints' hand. It's off the Saints' hand.
The referee Cummings judges a knock on.
Well, I think he said that Sean Long touched it. It's difficult to see from that angle. Well, again,
looks a 50-50 ball to me, Jonathan.
50-50 ball, yeah. Referee's call, and he's gone. Wigan
Here
ball.
we go. It was off a Wigan player.
Big
went
call.
forward. Sorry, a Saints player.
Big call now. Big call.
Yeah.
Well, it is a big call because Wigan have the attack here. They've got the head and ball. They're 10 metres out. They've 6 tackles to play with.
Hold the 5.
12-6 for St Helens. Farrell coming away. Joint lets him move, picks up the runner, Matthew Johns. Good play there by Joint. He knew what he was doing. Farrell again to Lamb. One or two of the players looking to see if Connolly had lost the ball there. Cassidy again. Oh, that's an ambitious pass. Wes Davis, Sorry Johnson holding off the attentions of 2 or 3 St Helens defenders. Farrell again coming more and more into this game now. There's a good gap there for Horton to go through. 6 metres from this Wigan line. Newton going for the line himself. On the 5th tackle. St Helens, 1 tackle to defend. Wigan in possession. Lamb, superb pass across there to Matthew John. Beautiful ball inside there to Furner. Oh, terrific tackle. Furner saw the gap, he saw the line. Terrific tackle again. And look who's in there again, Tommy Martin.
Great rugby league, you know, it's a great angle by Furner. And superb stronger defence.
St Helens then still hanging on to this lead. 57 minutes gone here at Knowsley Road. A tense Knowsley Road. And surely 1 or 2 of these players will begin to tire rapidly in the final quarter. They can't keep this momentum up. They can't keep this tackling. Good movement. Tommy Martin just felt that Wigan weren't covering down there. Oh, well, the Wigan crowd were roaring. They felt that Sonny Nicholl had interfered there. Not so, says the comment. Everything's happening here.
Hand over. Play the ball.
Well, it's all happening. Sonny Nicholl put his shoulder into Adrian Lamb off the ball.
Just a collision.
A
Play the ball. Play the ball.
Just a collision, says Mr. Cummings.
Well, it certainly was that. There was a couple of knock-ons.
Well, we've had some collisions. 1 big collision here at Knowsley Road. Wigan powering down the middle here. Harvey Howard on the charge. 32 years old. Substitute. Newton. Farrell. To Furner. Good tackle by Sean Long.
That's 3. Let him up, Kevin.
St Helens desperately defending here. Simon Horton. 1 pair of thrasher legs driving forward.
Time off, put your shirt back on. We're on 4th tackle. Right, put the ball down, put your shirt on.
Your shirts come
on
off,
the line.
Nice little crop top number there, eh?
Little breather. Perhaps a breather for St Helens there. Farrell. Oh, long speculative pass, but it's picked up. But that's good defence there by Martin and Paul Newell. Joint coming in as well. Wigan lost 20 metres there. We're on the 5th tackle. Johns again. Good ball. But good play there by Dallas. Sullivan had to keep his eye on the ball. He couldn't really be aware of what Dallas was doing. Another dropout. Should be another 6 for Wigan.
It's been a great wing battle there, Dallas and Sullivan. They've been superb. 2 really quick men. They've worked extremely well. Sullivan's been under pressure in defence. He's had a few awkward bouncing balls. Does well to turn. That's a good tackle by Dallas. Wigan will have the ball again.
Vital period for Wigan. They really need to get on level terms here. They've had possession for an awfully long time. Dallas almost losing that ball again. And that kick has put a lot of distance between the St Helens line and the Wigan attackers. 12-6 to St Helens. Coming up to that vital final 20 minutes. Roars have come on, you Saints, ringing around this Knowsley Road ground. Terry Newton to Farrell.
Leave him!
Solid tackle there from Sonny Nicholl.
With the Wigan forward, Dennis Betts. Dennis, it's going to be down to stamina by the looks of it now, isn't it?
Yeah, we seem to have controlling the ball really well. Just not getting a couple of breaks. We keep collecting penalties now and again, but we just need to make that breakthrough, and Saints are very resilient.
An absolutely ferocious game, some of the behaviour a bit tricky.
Well, this is rugby league, it's no quarter asked, no quarter given, and that's been the same out there, St Helens and Wigan derbies. He's never asked of anything.
Thanks, Dennis.
Well, you never know. I think it's interesting here, Jonathan. Andy Farrell electing to go for goal where Sean Long turned it down not long ago.
Yeah, well, that's the wind, Ray. The wind is very strong at Wigan's backs, and I think Andy Farrell knows they'll have to score twice to win this game, so why not take the one in front of the post now?
Farrell then with a kick directly in front of the post, but a long way out. It's there. The flags are high. Another 2 points for Wigan, just to try the difference now. And suddenly those Wigan fans sense they are back on the trail to Twickenham. A bad start at 12 points to nil, but they're coming back.
And we're into the last 20 minutes, Ray. It's been a ferocious game, as I said. You know, fitness will be the key to this game.
And in fact, Jonathan, those are the first points scored in 41 minutes. Just shows how hard it's been.
The defence has been superb, and people sometimes question the defence in British Rugby League when it comes to international rugby, but this has been superb today. It's been a great advert for British Rugby League again.
Cassidy again on the charge.
And 3. Get out, Chris!
Peter Shields back on the pitch. Farrell to Simon Horton.
That's 4! Clear! Wait for his foot! Wait for his foot!
And Wigan are about to add a bit more power and momentum to this game. Terry O'Connor, top forward, is about to return to the action, fully refreshed after quite a long layoff on the bench.
I think that will prove to be not the best of kicks for Wigan. Certainly, I think that young lad there, Paul Wellens, will be quite relieved at that. Terry O'Connor coming back on for Harvey Howard. Wigan coach Frank Endicott really spelling his big men, getting 20 minutes of time out of them. People here like David Furley having to stay on all the time. Wellens.
That's 2.
Wigan keeping a tight grip on Long and Martin. They need to. Peter Shields.
That's 3. David, move out.
Cunningham at last coming away from the acting half-back.
4. Hit the line.
What's going through that man's mind, Jonathan?
They're still in front. That's the important thing.
That's a good tackle from Gary Connolly. Spotted the danger, came in off that wing on the 5th tackle. Saints still moving it down that left-hand side to Paul Neeloff. Here's a chance for Neeloff, and there's a chance for young Yonkers. It's a try for the youngster. Oh, the grin on his face tells it all. He picked up a try in the grand final against Wigan, and the young lad, born in Amsterdam, picks up the try that could possibly see St Helens through to the next round.
They run it on the 6th tackle. Good ball by Martin. Steps inside Neil. What he can do, watch this. Lovely inside ball of Yonkers, and he'll be delighted to go over. Superb play by Newlop. Just about to say they've starved the centres of the ball, but this is what he does. Steps Lamb, fence Connolly, and gets the offload. Superb try.
And all that into passing, Jonathan, had to be done in a very, very confined space down the blind side.
Yep, they work the blind side. Here they go again. They work the blind side. Lovely ball. Watch this. That's the step. Does Lamb. He's great up his left foot. Tremendous offload. As we said, that's what they're good at, the offload. A lovely try for Yonkers.
Sean Long with a very, very important kick. Just 15 metres out, and it's successful. The roars all round this ground from the St Helens fans sense that possibly the Saints may have weathered the storm. With 15 minutes remaining to withstand this big, strong, powerful Wigan pack. It's going to be interesting, Jonathan.
I think there's 15 minutes left, there's a lot to play, but now Wigan have to score next and they know that.
And that's a bad kick. I think that man, Ian Millwall, will be delighted with that kick from Wigan. That man won't. Frank Endicott, he's having a word or two about it.
Yeah, it's a good strike. He tries to keep it low. Just too much power, and that's a big mistake.
St Helens then surely will hold this ball, play for position here. They are doing, they're using the forwards. David Furley had a superb game against the Brisbane Broncos in the World Club Challenge. Having another good one here. Good nice slip pass to Sean Long. There's a gap there. Good tackle though there by David Furner. Martin. That's gone into touch.
They do like working
got a scrum.
These short lines, don't they? You know, with Martin and Newlove there, they're exceptionally strong. With the sleight of hand of Martin and the power of Newlove.
Well, if tomorrow's game on Sunday grandstand between Leigh and Salford City Reds is half as good as this, it'll be a good weekend for rugby league.
You're all bound in, fellas. Tim, balls out before you break. Tim,
Cassidy changing with
Stay
Neil Cowie. Cowie. And St Helens suddenly coming to life again. They really were on the rack 5 or 6 minutes ago. Horton. John Stankovic, number 18 there, former Goulburn amateur. Steve Renoff. Ooh, that was a high tackle as well, I think, Jonathan.
Well, yeah, high shot. Definite high shot.
There's certainly no prisoners being taken here. And this game is certainly not over. Terry O'Connor struggling off a couple of tackles here to Wigan again.
How important will those two changes be? O'Connor and Cowie back on.
Two fresh forwards. Farrell shrugs off one tackle. 8 metres from the line. Just 18.8 the difference. 12 minutes remaining. Terry Newton. Oh, he couldn't get the ball away. Still Wigan on the attack. Adrian Lamb skirting the play. Lamb going in.
Paul, get out, Paul. Paul Wellens, move.
Mr. Cummins getting right into the action there. Johns again looks for that gap. Farrell coming more and more into the game. That's a knock on. That'll be another six tackles. Not a knock on really, but back to Wigan, back to square one. Wigan gratefully receiving it. Newton from the acting half-back position, he's hovering over. Cowie trying to push him over. He's over the line, can he get it down? He's on his back. Well, the whistle had gone.
Here we go. Scrum.
Once again, it'll be a scrum. It'll be attacking side ball.
Yeah. I think Shields got tangled up with a post there. Unless it was his knee, it looks like his knee, but he's definitely got tangled up, or his ankle maybe.
Yeah, he certainly got wrapped round the post, I think, didn't he? It was certainly a terrific effort to keep Newton up there, though.
There he goes, watch him,
there
look at him, there's his knee there.
His knee's underneath.
The pressure comes down. Hopefully that'll be okay.
He gets the ball down here, Jonathan, but of course Mr. Cummins blows the whistle just before, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been held up there plenty of time. There's the ankle, he's in agony shield. And there's been enough time, he's just holding. Too slow.
Wigan still looking for that vital try. Oh, and they've lost the ball.
Right, one either way. One that way, one that way. First one's by Wigan. The scrum is
a knock on and head and ball for St Helens. And it was the force of the tackle, I think, Jonathan.
I thought Lamb wanted Wes Davis to stay on the outside. If he'd have stayed on the outside, Newlove wouldn't have been able to come in for the tackle. He should have stayed on the outside, Wes.
That's one.
10 minutes remaining. 10 points the difference between these two great sides. Oh, here's a terrific run from Hoppy to Sean Long. Can he go the length of the field? We've got Caminero here now with Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart will go in at the corner for a magnificent try. Oh, a fabulous movement from St Helens. All down this right-hand side. Player after player showing support work supreme, and a youngster in at the end, and a Wigan-born man to that. Anthony Stewart, just watch this.
This is a great break, comes inside, outside, goes outside his opposite number. Watch him looking for support, and there's Sean Long, great halfback, steps inside, overhead pass, and now he's 2-on-1. Just takes the man on. And it's such a beautiful run for Stewart. That is a fantastic try. There he goes, Hoppy off the wing. Goes outside Horton. That's the mismatch. Inside ball to Long. Long goes for the support outside. Then it's a simple give and take. And Stewart will enjoy this. That is the ball game.
Stewart picking up the try, Jonathan. And the problem for Wigan there was that they had a wingman, Sean Hoppy, finding himself in the forwards and among the forwards.
Well, Sean Hoppy does exchange positions. He goes from wing to second row, and when he was in the second row, he can utilise his winger's pace. And what happened? He just stands up Simon Horton and goes on the outside of him. And then once St Helens get behind you, the support play is magnificent.
Difficult kick here then for Sean Long as Matthew Johns leaves the field. Another man a victim of the intensity of this cup tie. What a way to start the Silk Cup Challenge Cup. Sean Long then. No, just sends it across the face of the post, but I don't think he'd be too concerned at that particular miss. St Helens now comfortably in the lead, 22 points to 8.
Here he goes, in and out. Simon Horton can't match his pace. Inside ball, Hoppy to Long, steps inside Jones and looks for support. Then it's a simple give and take. That is a superb try.
St Helens 4 tries to Wigan's 1 try, but still Wigan, what a battle they put on here. Is time running out now? Just over 7 minutes remaining. 22-8.
Stand up and face him. Hands away.
And a lot of problems for Wigan too now with that man off, Matthew Johns. Oh, a clash of heads again.
Clash of heads, and down he went. And that's what Andy Fowler's complaining about. He wanted the game to be stopped, but you've got to play the referee's whistle.
Saints then pressing home again. Martin, it's a grubber kick. One or two of the fans roaring for obstruction there, but no player has to move out of the way.
The variety of play that St Helens bring to this game is superb. They've got the deftness of the half-backs, the power of the centres, and it's the pace of the back three. You know, the forwards do a great job for them, but they've got great footballers all round.
I think Paul Newell trying to work a flanker on Mr. Cummins there. Surely he knocked it down. He did.
I think Sean Long's left the field. He must feel that the game has been won. So Hall will go on.
Well, I think we can reveal that Sean Long has played with a very sore shoulder. He was very doubtful up to Thursday, Friday. I understand he's had a cortisone injection, Jonathan.
Well, he's played exceptionally well anyway, so, you know, he'll be justified in his selection. Just save him now for the next round.
Wigan still coming forward like the champions they are, but that's a crunching tackle there from the young lad John Stankovic. Lamb trying to break up play at the acting half-back.
And it's just Tommy Martin spots him, bang, what a hit. They both go down, but moral victory for Tommy Martin.
On the 5th tackle, to Farrell. He knows they have to run this ball now. To Johnson. Good to see Paul Johnson back in after a nasty shoulder injury and operation last year. And good to see another young lad, Steve Hall, coming off the bench for St Helens. Another just 21 years of age. Cunningham spotting his chance. Sean Hoppy. Still Wigan in possession. Wes Davis. Cowie. Connolly. Back to Ferner. But this St Helens team moving up very, very quickly. Chris Joint back on the pitch. Younker's gone off for St Helens now. I think Ian Millward doing right to put the St Helens skipper back on the pitch. 4 minutes remaining, but here's Wigan again. Steve Brinoff chasing. Hall's there. Oh, he just lets it go dead.
Yeah, no support again, that's the difference. When Saints break, the support is superb.
Come on, fellas!
Chris Joint, 30 tackles, Jonathan, as well as some terrific runs and a try-scoring run.
He's just the all-round player, isn't he? You know, he's a great forward. He does bursts, scores tries, and just works hard.
I'd be interested to see what Tommy Martin has done as well. He certainly has covered in defence. St Helens taking the time over the play of the ball now, wasting every precious second they can. Cunningham. Amazing to think that if, well, Morris doesn't look too happy. Morris Lindsay, the chairman of the Wigan club, and young Stankovic going away again. Oh, and there's Chris Joint racing for the line. Colin has got hold of him. Can he get that ball away? It's still anybody's ball. Play on, says the referee. Oh, it's mayhem on that touchline. Gary Connolly did well to stop that try.
Yeah, he was on his own there. Superb tackle. This is the break. What's the offload? Superb off of Stankovic. You think he hasn't got the pace, and Connolly knows that, and Connolly hangs on to him.
But to think when you put 30 tackles in and you can still race onto a ball like that. Chris Joint, captain, supreme here for St Helens. Andy Farrell trying all he knows to perhaps get another few points. I'm saying it's amazing to think that this is only Saints' second win in the Challenge Cup here at Knowsley Road since they first met Wigan way back 104 years ago. And Chris Joint rightly made the man of the match. What a start to his season. He was man of the match in the World Club Challenge against the Brisbane Broncos, and here now against the Saints' biggest rivals.
I think everyone looks at Saints as being a tremendous attacking option, which they are, of course, but the defence has been absolutely amazing today. Only a crossfield kick has beaten their defence, so they'll be very happy with that performance.
Stankovic. Good interception there by Terry Newton. Oh, and a terrific run for a hooker. He's had a good game, very, very good game. The pick of the Wigan pack for my money, Jonathan.
He's been exceptionally well, and he's lacked support, especially with a couple of breaks he's had.
Adrian Lamb. Well, he's not too happy though. I think he'd rather have had a mediocre game and still won.
Oh, of course, everyone likes to win.
Well, I'm pretty sure the odds of 3-1 to win the cup will drop further now after this win for St Helens.
Yeah, don't forget that the likes of like Leeds and Bradford and Cass, Broncos have done well with the signings this year.
Connolly. Now then, a race between Dallas. They'll not get there.
20.
Again, no option on, but the little kick does well to get the. He chips it over the full back. by the chip again, with the weather being as bad as it is. The ball just slides over the in goal.
That's one. Come on.
Seconds remaining, and the St Helens fans can sense it all around the ground, maintaining the noise, maintaining the roar.
Right, that's two now. Stand out.
Tries from Sullivan, Joyce, Yonkers and Stewart. 3 goals from Long and Justy, Gary Connolly and try, and 2 Farrell goals. Saints still moving the ball out. And a disappointing game for Frank Endicott. There's the hooter. It's all over. St Helens the winners, and for Saints, Chris Joynt, the dream is still on for a grand final win, a World Club Championship and a Challenge Cup treble in possibly less than 7 months. But Jonathan, a terrific win, but it's a long, long road yet to Twickenham.
Yes, but what a fantastic start for them. 1 over on their rivals, and Wigan were really up for this game with the new signings at half-back and Turner, but very comprehensive win, as I said, based on their defence, and their attacking options are superb. Chris Joynt led from the front again. There's Farley bloodied, but you know, he'd be happy with the 2 games he's had for Saints, 2 huge games, and now they will go on as maybe favourites to lift this cup.
Yes, a huge contest, as you say. Men of skill, but also men of courage, I think.
Well, it gets tougher, faster, more aggressive every season I watch this game. And it's just a magnificent game, and it was a magnificent match today. And it just kicks off the Challenge Cup. All these players will be extremely happy to get through. They'll be battered and bruised tomorrow, but St Helens will feel a lot better than Wigan.
And there's the man who's done it all, Ian Millward, the coach. He likes to be on the field, he likes to be with the players. Came here just less than 15 months ago and transformed this St Helens side.
Congratulations, Chris. It gets better and better for Saints, really, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it was a great victory today. Wigan put up a very good fight, but you know, it's a long way to go before the final, and I'm just glad we're in the bag come Monday.
You seemed to catch Wigan cold early on, but then they really came back strong, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought the first 20 minutes we were in control. Wigan come back in the second 20, and it was a bit of an arm wrestle come the second half.
I thought when Paul Newell set up the try for Tim Yonkers, the turning point of the game.
Yeah, it was a turning point. Like I said, it was a bit of a fight out there, and we just managed to come out on top.
Congratulations, Chris, the man of the match. You're saying Chris, your captain, was the man of the match, Tommy, but I think you ran him close. Some big tackles there for you.
Oh, we don't begrudge him the man of the match. You know, he's a class defender, class player, and that's why he's skipper.
What made the difference today for Saints, really?
I just think we all play for one another. You know, the spirit in the camp is second to none, and I'd just like to dedicate that performance to my granddad who passed away last Sunday.
But for the game itself, I mean, half that game, Wigan were really going at you, weren't they?
Yeah, there was. You know, that's a Wigan and Saints derby for you. You know, and it's a typical cup clash, and you know, that's what the spectators pay to see, and that's what they got.
You might be the World Club champions, but it'd be nice to have a cup run, wouldn't it?
You know, the World Club champions doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, we've got the Challenge Cup to look forward to in the Super League, and you know, we're only one step closer to Twickenham, and you know, that's what we're aiming for.
Congratulations, Tommy. Well done.
Cheers, thanks.
Ian Millward, the victorious coach. Ian, that was some game to watch, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, there's good quality in Super League and the club games especially, and you get that when we play Wigan, don't you?
I mean, how did you look at that game? It seems as though you caught Wigan cold early on, but then they really came back extraordinarily strongly, didn't they?
Yeah, we didn't play real well in the last 20 minutes of the first half, so, you know, we probably contributed a little bit to that, but, you know, we go all right, so.
The injury to Paul Sculthorpe, and that must have given you a few headaches early in the game.
I'm very interested to have a look at it on the video, you know what I mean? He's got a broken jaw, so we'll see how it goes.
It'd be nice for Saints, we just saying to Tommy Martin to have a cup run here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you know, the supporters were great for us today, you know, and, you know, it's only week 1 of the Challenge Cup, so, you know, we'll be in the draw on Sunday, and we'll be into it again in a couple of weeks' time.
Congratulations, Ian, well done.
Yeah, anytime.
Millward continues to work the magic, and a wonderful, wonderful game of rugby league. Martin O'Fire, what more have we learnt about St Helens today?
They've got a stiff defence. We all know about the attacking skills of people like Long, Newlove and Iro, but I think their defence, especially in the second half, was phenomenal. They kept Wigan out, and they just killed them off in the end.
It was astonishing defence, especially for about the first 15-20 minutes of that second half, when Wigan threw absolutely everything at them.
Yeah, the Wigan side started to gel. This Wigan team is a new team. They were a bit underprepared for today. They didn't obviously expect to get, a tough tie first round up. As I said, it's a new team. People like Lamb and Johns will have to gel and become part of the team. And I think when they do that, Wigan will still be a force in the Super League.
But having absorbed all that pressure, St Helens broke out, and the Yonkers try really set them on the way to victory, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was a great move by Paul Newlove there. Left Pat Lamb clutching some fresh air. A great pass out the tackle, and the young lad was over.
And you could almost sense the relief in the St Helens camp and around the ground here today when that young man went over, and they added to that afterwards and made the victory margin rather deceptively comfortable.
Yeah, I think until they scored that last try, Wigan was still in the game. Farrell had kicked a penalty, and so they were still in range, and all they needed to do was score one more try, and I think it would have been good things for Wigan. But unfortunately, I think Johns got knocked out, effectively leaving 12 men in the line. I think it was Hoppy who broke through, feed to Long to Newlove, and then the young lad Stewart in the corner basically killed the game off.
Terrific performance from St Helens. And what do you feel this leaves for Wigan now? It really is a bit of a hammer blow coming right at the start of their season. In what way is Wigan's season now somewhat derailed?
Wigan, the season's not really derailed. I think they're just going to have to take stock, and Frank Undercott knows he's got a great side there. And I said it's still early days for him. It's a new team. They're going for a rebuilding phase. I think they'll have to just accept that St Helens are the dominant force in the game, and Wigan dynasty is it was well over before today, but I think just basically confirmed it. And St Helens, if they win the Challenge Cup, they're just adding to the legend.
But this sport just gets more and more intense season by season. Jonathan Davis said up there he couldn't believe that he ever played this game. You, of course, still are. Does this raise your appetite for tomorrow now?
It does, but I'm watching it still thinking, I'm still playing this game, and I can't believe how I get through 80 minutes. Obviously, I don't do it as tough as the forwards, but it's still pretty hard, whichever position you play in. Tomorrow we've got a tough game against Lee. We've got a few players out. Jason Nichol, Bobby Goulden may or may not play, I don't know. But, the lads that will play will do all their best for Salford.
We will watch you in action tomorrow for Salford at Lee. We wish you the best for that. It's live on Sunday Grandstand tomorrow afternoon. Our thanks to Martin O'Fire. We'll have more from here at Knowsley Road before the end of the programme. But right now it's time for Final Score. Back to Ray Stubbs.
Thanks, Steve. Still plenty of time for equalising goals and winning goals, especially in the FA Carling Premiership, and some significant goal scorers in the second half too. There's a quick look at all the scores. Only one result. Southampton have beaten Bradford by 2-0, and Manchester City, that is a full-time whistle as well. Sergei Rebrov has got Spurs' goal. That's their first goal in 5 league games. Good cup win in midweek, but Sergei Rebrov has got Spurs their first away win of the season. What a result and what a game it is at Chelsea. Chelsea against Manchester United. It was Hasselbank for Chelsea, an equaliser from Andy Cole. It was all happening at the Stadium of Light too. Sunderland won, Liverpool won. Don Hutchinson for Sunderland. Jari Litmanen equalised for Liverpool with a penalty. Let's get the details now on that first result. At the Dell, Saints against Bradford, Steve May.
Yes, Ray, the complexion of this match completely changed on the hour when Glenn Hoddle made his first substitution, bringing on Mark Draper for Chris Marsden. Not that Draper had any direct influence in the goal within 20 seconds, but I think that a number of Southampton players were just relieved that Hoddle hadn't chosen them to come off. Vertessem immediately went straight up the right and centred for Marian Pahars to head in at the far post. That's his first goal since September, and within 2 minutes of that, Petrescu went down the left and James Beattie turned in it nicely from close range. That was his 12th of the season. So Saints pick up their 8th win here in the last 10. If they could actually pick up wins away from the Dell, they could be quite dangerous. And as for Bradford, they're still without a goal since January the 1st, and they didn't come anywhere close to changing that today.
Thanks, Steve. Final whistle has gone to at Stamford Bridge. Let's go there now. Unbeaten at the Bridge under Claudio Ranieri. What a game it was today. Chelsea against Manchester United. Jimmy Floyd, Hasselbank in the first half. But United have got bottle, everything you need to fight back. Andy Cole equalised, and John Motson was watching.
Yes, that's exactly how it turned out, Ray, and both teams' reputations here were enhanced. Chelsea's home form was certainly underlined by the way they took the game to Manchester United in the first half. Hasselbank's goal really the result of an error by Paul Scholes, but how well United came back in the second half, earning Cole's equaliser on 69 minutes. There were 2 or 3 other incidents of note. Gianfranco Zola scored almost from the touchline, or thought he had, but the referee decided the ball had gone out for a throw-in to save Van der Gouw embarrassment, and Hasselbank could have made it 2-0 when he went round the goalkeeper, and Silvestre made a great saving tackle. Having said that, there was plenty of action in the Chelsea penalty area in the last 25 minutes, and overall I wouldn't argue too much with the draw as a fair result. It was good entertainment. I have to say I thought the referee, Mr. David Ellery, did extremely well. There were 2 yellow cards, but by and large the players acted in a most sportsmanlike manner. It's a match well worth seeing tonight. It's Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1.
Arsenal have clawed back a couple of points because they've beaten Ipswich by 1-0 at Highbury. A match watched by John Champion.
Yes, what comfort for Arsenal. They're now a mere 13 points behind Manchester United, but they deserved this win and should have won by more. The goal scored by Thierry Henry, their leading scorer, his 15th of the season, midway through the second half. He arrived as a substitute 10 minutes before, seized on Bergkamp's incisive pass and finished with some aplomb low beyond Richard Wright, the outstanding Ipswich goalkeeper, who was the only man between Arsenal and a really thumping victory. 4 outstanding first half saves, a couple more in the second half, and that meant that Arsenal were continually frustrated and had to wait for the arrival of Henry to change the face of this game. For the Gunners, 4 wins in a row. For Ipswich, the small size of whose squad is now telling, 5 defeats on the bounce, their worst sequence for 6 years.
Thanks very much, John. Per Franson for Bolton. Looks like he saved a point against Huddersfield. Bolton against Huddersfield. Bolton were 2 goals down, but have fought back, still playing. In the 90th minute, Per Franson could have saved the points there at the Reebok Stadium. It's finished at the Stadium of Light. What a game this was as well, it seems. Sunderland against Liverpool. Tony Gubble will give us the story.
Yes, it was hot-blooded and it was passionate, and it produced a very controversial penalty. There was no doubt that the foul by Varga on Gary McAllister was outside the penalty area, but McAllister's momentum breaking from midfield carried him 2 yards into the penalty area before he fell, and referee Graham Barber pointed for a penalty. He wasn't helped really by his official on the line, Mr. Martin Short, who confirmed that decision, although replays certainly seem to suggest the challenge was outside the area. Anyway, it was a penalty, and Jari Littmanen, the Finnish international, kept calm amidst all the uproar to slot it home in the 79th minute and earn Liverpool a point from a 1-1 draw. They were trailing from a goal scored by Don Hutchinson in the 51st minute, but in the end I suppose a draw was a fair result, but my goodness me, it was a sparky old affair. No fewer than 8 cautions in the match, and it's a wonder that nobody was sent off.
Thanks, Tony. Scores going through. Tranmere have been beaten at Prenton Park by Wolves by 2-0. That won't ease their relegation problems. It finished 2-2 Bolton Huddersfield. Port Vale have beaten Bournemouth by 2-1, and Rotherham, going well in Division 2, have beaten Cambridge by 3-0. Let's get the story of a Spurs away win. Harry Gresham will tell us all about it.
I'll tell you something, Ray. George Graham nearly did a double somersault about 2 minutes before the end of this game, and poor old Manchester City will wonder how on earth they can win a game. A goal disallowed on 47 minutes for a foul on Neil Sullivan no one really could see was bad enough. So too were chances for Kanchelskis and Ostenstad, which were wasted. But 2 minutes from time it got worse. A superb through ball by Leonardson sliced City open, and Rebrov nipped in to score with some style. I think City deserved a point at least. They hit the post. Huckabee tormented the Spurs defence virtually the whole match. But Sol Campbell, it has to be said, was absolutely magnificent. And George Graham can certainly sleep easier tonight.
In Division 2, Walsall have slipped up, trying to close the gap on Millwall, beaten at home by 2-1. Confirmation: Sunderland 1, Liverpool 1, Everton 2, Leicester 1, Villa 1, Middlesbrough 1. Terry Venables still keeps his unbeaten record, but it's a point, as Steve Lee will tell us about.
The return of Hugo Ekiog to his old stamping ground proved invaluable to Borough. His thundering second-half header from Keith O'Neill's corner, and Borough another point, stretching their unbeaten run under Venables to 11 league games. Steve Stone's header from Staunton's corner had given Villa the lead, the first half lead their territorial dominance deserved. But Borough adopted a more offensive second half strategy to deservedly grab a point. Villa faded badly after the break, and the form of their £9.5 million man Juan Pablo Angel must be giving John Gregory the vapours. The Colombian looked like a lost boy among the giants of the Borough defence and was substituted long before the end. On this form, it looks like money not well spent.
The big game in Division 3 went Brighton's way. Bobby Zamora with the winning goal. Second place Brighton beating third place Cardiff by 1-0. Everton fans spring in their step as they walk away from Goodison Park this evening. They've beaten Leicester, and match watched by Andrew James.
That's right, Ray. 3 invaluable points for Everton, but they were fortunate to come up against a Leicester City side who only began to play in the last quarter of an hour of the match. First half goals from Franny Jeffers on his return from injury, and top scorer Kevin Campbell gave Everton the